I want to thank you for your testimony. You know, this goes not only for your testimony, but for everybody that's been here and will testify. Your voice is going to be heard beyond this forum. Your voice is being heard on the other side of the aisle, too. And I would hesitate to think that the governor is going to hear this testimony and your voice. And hopefully, by all working together, we can come up with the moratorium, the health impact, and of course, you know what my personal opinion is. I don't want to do hydrofracking at all, but at least put us in the position to have... Who was that? That was actually what I came up with, 42-20 or fight. That's the ban bill. But at the very least, there are some minimum things that could be done. So I appreciate your testimony. Any comments? No? Good.
Senator, if I could answer a couple questions from before.
Sure.
Senator Squadron asked about other safer ways to do this. We've started hearing about gas fracking with liquid propane. That supposedly uses, no water, so there are fewer trucks. There's only one company that's been doing this in Canada. There's absolutely no environmental analysis that's been done. The only information that's out there is from this company. So if somebody, and the Tioga County Landowners Coalition is touting this as a great solution, be very afraid of this. This is, first off, it's another fossil fuel to get a fossil fuel. I don't get it, but there is absolutely no independent analysis of gas fracking, and that should just be the idea that, and there has been some public relations from the DEC saying that, well, it's not really hydrofracking, so we don't have to study it, we can start permitting. Resist that at all costs.
Right. If I may comment, we're actually going to amend my ban bill to include that process as well. And
another question, just about why would, say, Governor Cuomo be in favor of this? We have an economic problem in upstate New York. We need jobs. The quickest way to put people to work is to advertise the on-bill financing that you've already put in place, so that every homeowner could get insulation put into their house. Every homeowner could get, windows caulked and fixed. If we put people to work, putting conservation measures into place, we'd have those jobs. We would reduce our carbon footprint. One of the other true dangers of gas drilling is, anybody who's interested in making money in this, I don't know what their hurry is anyway. The price is so low, it seems you really want to just wait. But the price is so low, it's also forcing people to defer or just look away from renewables or conservation. It's making the economic payback even longer. So there is no bridge to a renewable future. It removes the bridge altogether. So it's just the complete wrong direction for this country to go in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Senator Vale, could I just make one comment? What would you have us out there in the hinterlands, the grassroots activists, some of whom have turned into politicians now, what would you have us do? We know if you were king, you would say, this nasty technology is banned, but these other bills, where can we be most effective to help you?
Well, I personally think that you have to get to the governor. I really think that's where the battle is. So if it's whether you support the ban bill, the health impact assessment bill, or any of the other bills, there are two people that you have to really get to at this point. That's the governor and the majority leader of the Senate, Senator Skelos.
Yeah.
If we were to pass something in the Senate, I think the governor would be put in such a position that he'd have to go along with it.
Okay.
If the governor would support it, I think Dean Skelos would be hard-pressed not to support it. So either one of those two people, if they would break on this issue, in my opinion, would go a long way in getting where we want to be.
Which bill or bills do you think have the greatest chance of getting passed in the Senate?
Well, I would say the hazardous waste is crucial. hazardous waste bill and the health impact assessment.
How
Those
about
are the-
home rule?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, because we need
Yeah.
focus. We don't have unlimited
Yeah.
time or energy, so that's helpful. Thank you.
Senator Serrano has a question,
Oh.
and then Senator Krueger.
Well, I think I have an answer also,
Is that okay?
because you said you ran for office
Yes, ma'am.
on this issue.
I did.
So when politicians aren't doing the right thing for people, this is democracy.
That's right.
We're
Yes.
supposed to vote in people who will do the right thing. So I completely respect your willingness to run for office on this issue, and apparently you won.
I did. Big.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, we're not supposed to talk partisan politics, but we can talk politics here.
Yeah.
You know, the state government needs to be responsive to communities and the people in communities. And as so many people have already testified today, this could be the greatest risk to our environment in the 21st century. If that's not worth getting political about, I don't know what is. So
And
thank you.
Senator, if I could say, in our county this past November, in three towns, Democrats took majorities or retained majorities by 60 and 70% on this issue in towns that were majority Republican. So this is, as I said, it's not a partisan issue. And unfortunately, I dare say, redistricting has kind of made it a little bit hard for any opponents to show up at this point who might have a different position. So these things are connected.
Senator Serrano.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank all the speakers. And the discussion here, Senator Vella, I think is very good, very enlightening, and the concerns about health and potential health concerns are extremely troubling, and I'm glad that we're talking about it. But I wanted to jump off something that I think the Riverkeeper testimony touched upon, which is the negative economic impact that faces the state. In the Senate, I'm the ranking member on the committee that oversees state parks. And state parks are really the jewel of the state of New York. We have some of the most fantastic natural wonders anywhere in the world. And my love for state parks, I think, is shared by folks on both sides of the aisle. It's not a partisan issue. But the threat to natural wonders like our state parks is very real when you consider hydrofracking. And the pollution of these pristine areas, places that those of us who live in New York City, who live in the concrete jungle, we travel to places in state parks because we want to get away from the pollution. We want to get away from the chemicals. And I think it's very unfortunate that there is a possibility because of what's going on here that we could in a very real way damage these wonderful state parks and have a very real negative impact, because the tourism sector in New York State is a tremendous revenue enhancement for our communities, and state parks is a major draw. I'm concerned about the impact that this would have on state park tourism, on environmental tourism, and New York State tourism as a whole. Thank you.
That's tremendous. We need to stay a brand with an abundance of riches. And for the folks downstate, I think they like to come up and pick apples and, you know, blueberries and pet cows and that kind of stuff. And we love to have you there, you know, come to the museums in Cooperstown. But, you know, if this fracking takes hold, who's going to want to come up there?
Right.
New York needs to be branded like Vermont. You think they'd allow this? Heck no. The green state. They're branded as clean and green and agriculture, and we need to keep that and not blow it for all this baloney. Okay, I'm done.
And I think just in response to Senator Avella's point, which is that the point is to really communicate to the governor. The governor has been hanging on to the idea that this is important for the state's economy. And disabusing the governor and everybody else that believes that that's true is incredibly important. This is going to be an economic downside, not an economic upside, to parts of the state that are critical, not only recreation and tourism, but agriculture and small business. New York State is the third largest producer of organic produce in the country. And we're already hearing from co-ops in New York City that they will not buy organic produce from the southern tier if hydrofracking begins. And so we are, even the argument that we need this for the economy is flawed.
If I can add a couple of things,
we do have a number of speakers to go on, and I'm going to have to cut you off. Because otherwise we're not going to get to everybody. But I do appreciate your testimony. Thank you so much.